Sometimes life truly does seem to suck. We all experience tragedies in our lives. People we love die. We might get deeply betrayed. We discover just how depraved humanity can be, how deceitful and awful other people can be, and just how depraved we ourselves can be. And what difference does meditation or self inquiry or psychology or the psychological illusion model really matter when life truly does seem to suck? That's the topic of this video. My name is Jurgen Rasmussen. Welcome to the Provocative Hypnosis vlog. So, I'm a lifelong martial artist, and I still do martial arts. And I remember as a kid when we were kickboxing, we had this T-shirt that says kickboxing because life is a full contact sport. I always liked that T-shirt. I still have it. I think it's a good analogy, for life. And I've been reflecting on this, and I'm not going to bore you with the details of my own personal life, but in the last few years, and especially in the last year or so, um, quite a few things have happened that you could have written a really bad movie script, like a part drama, comedy, horror movie, and it would look like some of what's happened in my own life. And in some ways, that's highly unfortunate. We all go through our own tragedies in life, but it's also been useful in terms of walking the talk and discovering what difference meditation and self-inquiry and psychological insight can make. And here's what I've discovered. I've discovered that it truly is possible to have an experiential sense of peace of mind being in the nature of our being, even when life storms. And that's a really cool thing to discover. So I'd like for you to imagine that being or consciousness or mind itself is a bit like a three-layered chocolate cake, you know? So the first layer are the perceptions and the sensations in which we experience what's referred to as the outside world. So the so-called outside world, of people and events and stuff happening, we experience that through perceptions and sensations. So that's one layer, right? The second layer of this three-layered chocolate cake is the images and the thoughts and the sensations of the inner world, of fantasies, dreams, expectations, assumptions, um, that sort of stuff. Now, the third layer of mind itself is just consciousness, or we could say being. The very consciousness that is aware of the sensations, the perceptions, and the thoughts, and the images, and the feelings. There's something which is aware of the activity of the so-called outside world and inner world. And that which is aware of these perceptions and sensations and thoughts and feelings is itself not a thought, not a sensation, or not a feeling. Just is, in a sense. It's the consciousness in which the world and the inner world appears in. Because everything you ever experience, you experience in consciousness. There's no experience outside of consciousness. And it is that in which everything is made of or an expression of. So, moment by moment, you could say that mind or consciousness or being expresses itself as seeing, hearing, tasting, perceiving, thinking, cognizing, emoting. And even if the world seems to be going to hell, like the so-called outside world seems to be going through hell, and even if your inner world of thoughts and feelings and sensations are storming all over the place, you can still have the experiential experience of consciousness or being itself being peace. Like there's always a peace of mind, so to speak, in the background. And that can be cultivated. So I'll give you a couple of examples of this. A few months ago, when things looked really bleak, I woke up one morning and I just everything seemed hopeless and dark and and meaningless. And some people might refer to that as a state of depression, and horrible thoughts. But even as this was occurring, there was a peace of mind that just pervaded the whole thing. Like I had literally zero suffering, even though the mind went in that direction. I had zero psychological suffering. I had no inclination that I needed to change anything or fix anything. I did not at all take it seriously. And it didn't last long. It lasted for like a day and then it gradually faded. Now, the big difference for me is that had this been 20 or 30 years ago, the alarm bells would have gone off. There would have been a massive effort to, go for a run or do a cold shower or meditate or question my thoughts or whatever. It would have seemed like a truly big deal, but it was not. So this is the promise that self-inquiry and meditation holds, is that even when the external world seems to be in a really rough place, and even if your own inner world of thoughts and feelings seem particularly dark, the nature of consciousness or mind itself is peace. And that peace in the background is always there, and it can be your conscious experience. And here's one way to cultivate that. So initially understand this, and I notice this with my clients when they come in, right? They always say, I am depressed, I am anxious, I have panic attacks, I am jealous, I have compulsions, I have obsessions. Now, the red thread or common denominator here is the I. There's seemingly an I which is depressed, and there's an I which is anxious, and there's an I which is angry, and so on and so forth. Now, the really interesting thing about most forms of psychotherapy is that the emphasis is exclusively on the content, the depression, the anxiety. Let's look at your compulsion or your addiction. Or very seldom is the alleged I or self that these thoughts and feelings imply or refer to ever explored in an experiential way. And then the question becomes, well, what is the nature of this I or self that all of these issues or feelings or thoughts seemingly refer to. And you can explore this in an experiential way. And one way to do it is to just notice that no matter what feeling state might be going on, there's something which is aware of it. No matter what thought might arise, there's something which is aware of that thought. And that which is aware of the thought or the feeling is in of itself not a thought. That helps to break that sense of identification where it seems as if our very being shares the destiny of any temporary mind state. When we go, I am depressed, I am anxious, right? It seems as if that's our nature, or our being shares the destiny of these temporary thoughts and feelings. But if you slow down, if you just notice that there's something which is aware of these thoughts and feelings, and you just take the simple thought, I am, like just the fact of being, like just I am. Yeah, there's a presence, there's an aliveness, there's a consciousness. These are words, of course. I am is a thought, but that thought refers to something. So that which the thought I am refers to, you could call that being, you could call it consciousness. What is its nature? And this is not something to ponder intellectually, because if you do that, you'll just get more thoughts reflecting more thoughts. But if you just sit down and you go, I am, like the lights are on. Huh. What is the nature of that which the words I am refer to? And if you experientially explore that, you can ask questions such as, can I localize it anywhere? If you explore that, you'll notice that the answer is no. Being is not in the head or in the body. The sensations of a body or the sensations of a face appear in consciousness, not the other way around. Does it start or stop? Does it have any duration? No. Time and space appear in consciousness as expressions of consciousness. Does consciousness or being have any objective qualities? Like, does it weigh anything? Does it have a center point or any solidity? And really experientially explore that, and you'll find that no, it just is. It's just present. It's just life itself, contracting and expanding. So if it just is, and it's not a thought, it's not a feeling, it's not a perception, it's not a sensation, you can't localize it anywhere, it's not in time or space, it has no objective qualities. If you ask, does it lack anything? No. What's another word for that which doesn't lack anything? Peace? Freedom? And just be that knowingly. So if every time the depression or the anxiety or the compulsion comes up, and you just notice, I am depressed, Put your attention on the I am. Just the I am. Okay, I am. And then trace that thought back to the experience that it refers to, the very being, the very consciousness that it refers to, and experientially explore that with the questions that we did. And it will be revealed that the nature of being or consciousness or mind is peace itself. And the more you rest as that, the more you'll have the conscious experience that that peace of mind pervades everything and is the source of everything. In such a way that even when the world seems to be going to hell, the perceptions and the sensations and the feelings and thoughts seem to be horrible, you can still rest as the innately peaceful mind or consciousness that is your nature. And somewhat ironically, there's no I to be found in any of this. The I is just another thought. It's just life pulsating, moving, extracting. And you're it. And there's no separate autonomous I separate from that dance. And there's something quite profound in that. Of course, none of this changes that most of the time it kind of looks as if we are a self that sees and experiences, a world which consists of a multiplicity of separate objects, appearing to a me. That's just the game of life, and it doesn't take away the roughage of life. Life's tragedies and ups and downs and seemingly bad stuff happening. Although it's just life occurring. It's the mind, which is of course just another process of life, telling stories about how things should have been different and how things should be, and how there's an I that this is happening to, and there's an I out there that's doing it to an I in here. These are all thoughts, but it really looks real a lot of the time. But there's something really awesome if you can see, and there's really no you to see it, right? There's just a seeing. But in the same way that nature just emerges, the rain just emerges, the sunshine just emerges, the process of life and its contents just emerges. What is called my mind or your mind just emerges in the same way as the rain and the sunshine does. And there's really no you to it. There's something awesome in that being revealed. But again, what it can do is, even in the depths of what looks like depression or anger or compulsion or anxiety, you can always consciously have the experience that the nature of being or mind itself is peace. Just peace in the background. And that will make you, in quotation marks, way less rattled by life's experiences. And even if you lose touch with it from time to time, you can always reconnect with it. And there's something really awesome in that. So I hope this was useful, inspiring, If you would like to explore mentorship or the seminars I do, or reach out and work with me as a client, you're very welcome to contact me through provocativehypnosis.com. If you're watching this in 2024, I'm doing a psychological illusion model seminar online in October, and a 1 day masterclass on how to work with clients who struggle with anger in September. So if you're interested in that, do check it out. As always, thanks for listening.